These things aren't going to get us famous. These things actually get us killed. Because people that speak truth, they just want to make an example. But if everybody speaks truth, then they can't kill all of us. So don't be a coward. Don't be afraid. Your life is in God's hands. This is the day that the Lord has made, and these are the times which God has decided we shall live. Now let's dive in. We got first on the news, ticks. You may be thinking, what do you mean ticks? There's a tick that's going around North America. It's called the Lone Star tick, and it is giving people food allergies. In particular, the allergy of meat, red beef, red meat. It's a so-called meat allergy, but in reality, it's not from the ticks. It is from the mRNA COVID vaccines that they have given us. So keep that in mind. So people are becoming allergic by this tick biting them. Exactly. You can probably connect the dots and say, why are ticks coming in, biting, and giving people these diseases, these allergies, making people anaphylactic? Kind of like how you get a bee sting. It's like that reaction with beef. And is it such a coincidence that at the same time they're doing this, they're saying they have to stop eating beef? There's too much methane, too many farts, carbon. It's not good for the planet. We gotta stop eating beef. We gotta start eating insects and cockroaches and Beyond Meat. All these things that these global people, global elites, whatever you want to call them, the world government, I think that's what I'll call them. The world government, they want us to get off of eating meat. They say they want us to just be vegans, just eat cockroaches, eat what's good for the earth, because the earth is going to die in 100 years. The water is rising and it's not going to stop, and everybody is going to die. All the polar bears are dead. All of those things that are false and not true, but they still say it, right? And on that same note, there was a lady, 36 years old. She died of starvation, and she was a vegan, only ate exotic fruits and things of that nature, but died early. Let me just find her name. But it says, vegan food influencer who only ate exotic fruits dies of starvation at the age of 39. These are the people that they want us to become. She's malnourished. You can't get enough of your proteins and all of your vitamins and nutrients just from fruits. It's impossible. But people still try, and they listen to these global elites, the world government that wants depopulation. They say in their own internal memos that they have on their website, on the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, that we're already overpopulated. We're too many people on the earth. All the third world countries, their population is growing exponentially fast. Bill Gates, eugenicist, all these things tying together with even the abortion industry, how they love killing babies. They kill babies. It's literally what it is. I'm not politically correct. Abortion is the murder of an innocent human life. Humans beget humans, and that's just how it is. In any of your biology textbooks, it will tell you that human beings start to develop when you have your own individual DNA inside the mother's womb. As soon as that sperm and that egg connect, that's a new human life. That's a new DNA, even different blood type than the mother and the father. And people will then like to say, well, it's not completely human because X, not completely human because Y and Z. But in actuality, they are human. But when we play this game with human plus X, human plus not being black, human plus being white, human plus being mentally cognitive, right? People that are mentally disabled, racism, all these things come from when you deny people their humanity just because of something. If that something is a mental illness, that something is the color of their skin. Even now, white people are being discriminated against. I would think the most in the world right now. If you're a white heterosexual male, you're literally the worst thing in society, and you need to be trained out of your racism because you were born a white supremacist. And these are just the things that they feed us to have these race wars for us to fight each other and not just to come together and notice that, yo, our bills are so high. Hey, rent cannot be paid. Hey, my gas just went up. Justin Trudeau and his carbon tax. Talking about Justin Trudeau, look at this man in his relationship. He was cheating with the nanny. It's my speculation. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a relationship guru, but just looking at him in the news that's come out, with the flight manifestos with his wife and the children going on one plane and Justin and the nanny going on another. For any women watching this, women meaning biological women, sorry. I'm bad, man. But what would you think if your husband took a private airplane with the nanny, the female nanny? It kind of looks just like her. All these people that get nannies that look just like the wife, it's always trouble in paradise to me. And it was said somewhere, the rumors were they were already separated, but now they're just getting the legal separation. And I think, she's just learning what all of us Canadians have known this whole time, that Justin Trudeau is not a normal person. He is mentally deranged and insane. And he will pretend and smile into the camera and shake everybody's hands during Pride, but he's a tyrant and he's crazy, and we need to get him out of office. I really don't know if anybody else is worse than him. We'll have to wait and see, guys. Next on the agenda, breaking news, Canada's censorship laws. It's Bill C-11. Well, it was Bill C-10 before, but it kind of got revised and changed, so it's Bill C-11, and it's the censorship bill. And what comes with that is now all news in Canada will be removed from Facebook, Instagram within weeks, according to Meta. Meta, it was previously known as Facebook. It's Mark Zuckerberg, however you say that guy's name. He owns the WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, major social media platforms, and they're in bed with the Canadian government. The Canadian government is saying, hey, we do not want any Canadian news to be on your sites. Okay, only things that we want to present to the world, that will be in the world. Even right now, trying to put this broadcast out into the air is so difficult in Canada because it says we only want to favor Canadian content. We want to push up Canadian content creators, and that's how it started, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? That's what they say, but it's all just a lie, because in reality, they just say, what is Canadianness? What is it? But they define it. It's so loose that whatever they deem to be Canadian, that's what they'll put up. But if you're critical about the government, if you're critical about mandates and forced injections and grooming of children and mutilating of children's genitalia, well, that's not Canadian enough. That's not enough love. Where's the love? So your content will be suppressed and not even put onto the platforms. So you're gonna have to go through VPNs and Tor and all these crazy things that I didn't even know about, but just to get your content out there. So even if you're seeing this right now, I appreciate you sticking this long and bearing with me. So pray for the broadcast and drop a like, drop a comment, and go to all the social media that's in the description to see me, because we don't know how long we have on these channels. So support. Patreon and PayPal is in the description. God bless you. The next one, Lizzo forced dancers to eat bananas from sex workers' vagina vulva during a trip. So if you didn't think these people were not wicked enough, Lizzo is forcing her dancers to eat bananas out of strippers, prostitutes. I don't know what these sex workers are, but they're sex workers, and they have bananas in their coochies, and she's forcing them to eat it out. This depraved culture that we're in, I feel it's worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, because I don't know if Sodom and Gomorrah had the reach that they could as we do today to spread all this filth around to the whole world to make it acceptable. I remember a while ago in 2014, Nicki Minaj came out with that song. I think it was Super Bass or something, but she was very like in a bikini, and it was just very sexual what she was talking about, and that was controversial. But now you keep getting into more and more darkness, into more and more evil, and evil doesn't stop. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And how evil can it get? Only as evil as good men will let it. So we have to stand up as good Christian, godly men that believe in Jesus, that believe in the Trinity, to stand up and lead our families, to raise our families, to be loving parents, to be a force in our community and in the wider society, to make this world a heaven on earth. Because where we're seeing it go, we cannot be timid, we cannot just be passive. That isn't what a godly man's supposed to do. Being passive and just letting things get worse, you're actually guilty of the sin as well. If you know it's happening, you're not stopping it, you're going to be in that sin. So guys, remember, please support. You guys should be making your own podcasts and broadcasts and YouTube channels. It's not about one channel having 1 million and 1 billion and all these subscribers and views. No, it's when everybody on a local level can understand the same game plan and be connected, so then we can have a group force when we push and say, you know what, we're not going to support these stores, we're not going to support this, we're going to boycott. It's the same thing that happened with Bud Light and all these things. When they go woke, what? They go broke, because we are the ones that are going to be funding it. But not only funding it, then putting our resources into those places where we do like their message, where we do stand with them, and only supporting those places. So that's how we actually change these things, because they're going to bring the social credit system here. They're already bringing it in so many parts of the world. It's already in China. It's been there for a while. It's been a model. And Justin Trudeau in the World Economic Forum loves on China. They drool. They say, oh my goodness, they have so much power. If I could only be like China. And one day if they want to change something, they do it, and none of their citizens can do anything about it. This is these dictators. They just drool and salivate, wishing they can be these rulers, but it's a spirit that's inside of them, that's Satan, that just wants to control everybody. But this world, we do not fight in war against flesh and blood, right? Against principalities, against spiritual rulers. So we just have to keep that in our mind and not neglect church and mass and prayer and fasting. All these things are so much more important than just what I'm doing here. This is part of it, but the main thing is a relationship with Jesus. So remember that, guys, and pray for the cast, pray for the broadcast, pray for my family, and we need to get out of Canada, because unless something changes wildly and drastically, I do not see a future living here in Canada. So next story is Mia Khalifa, 3-time divorce champion and former sex worker, adult content star, so porn star, gives marriage advice. And she talks about how marriage is not, well, we're going to play the clip for you, but marriage is not any kind of big deal. It's just a piece of paper. No, that's what society has tried to make marriage, but biblical marriage, real marriage, is not just a piece of paper. They had marriage way longer before this piece of paper. But marriage is between a man and a woman. That is what marriage is. Marriage isn't, hey, a cat and a man, a dog and a man and a man, a woman and a woman. You can call that something else, but you cannot call that a marriage, because that is just not what marriage is by definition. Imagine if society just lost all its memories, and 2 men having sex, nothing happens. 2 women having sex, nothing happens. Wait, a man and a woman, they have sex, and wait, they make a baby. Wait, now our population doesn't have to die, we can keep growing. All right, let's call that specific thing, let's call that something. We'll call it marriage. Those 2 opposite sex people coming together and they can procreate. That's special. Okay, and the best way for those children to thrive is to have one mom and one dad. That's the optimal best scenario for kids to thrive. So having that example and seeing what marriage actually is, and then saying two women getting married, quote unquote, is a marriage. It's not. It's something else. You guys can give it its own name, but to hijack marriage and then to get to the point where marriage is so degraded that now people just think of it as a piece of paper that it can just be thrown away. Jesus even said that you shouldn't leave your husband or wife. You shouldn't get a divorce unless there's some kind of infidelity, something serious. And obviously, there's more to it. If you're having an abusive relationship or something is really unhealthy, obviously go seek help, talk to your pastor, talk to your priest, and go see what you guys can do. But it's not supposed to be just a piece of paper that when things get hard, times get rough, you just get divorced and you have 3 marriages. And then you try to give other people marriage advice as if you have any sense about that topic. So first, make your own bed, then try to tell somebody else how to make theirs, okay? Get the plank out of your eye before you get the splinter out of your brother's. And the last one we have to talk about is the vaccines they're giving to the cows. In 1996, the UN said they would use food as a weapon. Not only have they done that with the whole wheat situation, you know, all these people, they're allergic to gluten, right? You're not really allergic to gluten, it's the Roundup Ready. They did the same thing to Roundup Ready corn. It's a thing they put on the fields so that pests won't eat it. And what it does is it doesn't let the pest eat it, but it becomes so toxic that it can cause cancer and all these issues. And when it comes into your body and you consume it over a long period of time, then you become allergic to it, to the point that you're allergic to gluten, you're allergic to wheat and corn, and you're allergic to so many things. All these allergies that happen and coming that weren't here before, right? I'm from Africa. Everybody that I know in Africa, nobody's allergic to anything. But then when you come to first world countries, everybody's allergic to eggs and chicken and everything you can think of, there's an allergy for it. And it's almost like, why? And these allergies skyrocketed as soon as they started putting these pesticides on the Roundup Ready corn, not only at the beginning of the season, and it'll get washed off slowly throughout with the rain and the seasons, but at the end, they had a problem because it would start to rot and it would start to break down because if things got wet and it's in the summer and it's supposed to just be drying up so you can collect it and process it, it gets wet. You know what happens? Something gets wet, it gets moldy. So before they had the mold come in there, they sprayed the field again with it, and then it actually dried up all the wheat, all the corn, whatever it was on that field, and then you get like a double dose. So then right when they spray it on, then they collect it, then they put it inside the barns, then they process it, then they give it to you guys and me, and then we consume it. So that's one way they're poisoning us with the food. Also through the waterways. The water that we drink from the tap, please, I hope you're not drinking tap water, because for a long time I was. But when you learn what's inside the tap water and you test your tap water, it is atrocious that this like aspartame, all these things are inside the water that are so harmful for you. So please filter your water, get an Alexa Pure, that's what I have, and just purify your water because the government will not. Okay. The next one is they give vaccines and injections and antibiotics to animals throughout the year. They have a schedule for them. Now they're wanting to give them mRNA vaccines and COVID vaccines that if you didn't get a COVID shot, well, you'll get the COVID shot through the beef. And then what will happen through time is that people will then grow an allergy to the beef. And this is just a way of depopulating the world because they're stopping the farmers in Europe, in Dutchland and the Netherlands. They're stopping the farmers, and these farmers are killing themselves. They don't know what to do. It's terrible what's happening there. It should be a human rights crisis. human right violation. They're shutting down all these farms. They're killing all the animals. They're shutting off the nitrogen. Nitrogen is literally what makes plants grow, all in the effort of global warming. They even changed it from global warming to global boiling. Like, who gives them the right to just change these names? But these people, they're unelected bureaucrats that have all this power, that our government, Justin Trudeau, goes over to Klaus Schwab and drinks his milk and his Kool-Aid and comes back and tells us how we need to run our environment, how we need to run our economic system. Everything that we have is coming from these World Economic Forums, the COVID-19, Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates. All these people are actually running the world. And they give us their plans. And right now, there's going to be some kind of cyber attack. They're coming out and saying it. Just like Bill Gates came out before COVID-19 and said, guys, there's going to be a COVID-19. Be careful. And then it comes. It's like they just pre-program you just to make it ready, just to put that thought and idea in your head. Kind of like how they have movies. And the movie comes out and it talks about a global crisis that's a pandemic from a virus that was made in a lab, right? It was one of the Mission Impossible movies out. That was the exact line. The whole movie was about that, and then it came. So they just pre-program people, and it sounds so crazy, but when all these facts are coming out and all these articles are there, and you do your own research and don't just listen to the mainstream media that is literally funded by the government that has an interest in what you think and hear, then you start thinking for yourself and not being a sheep. These things aren't going to get us famous. These things actually get us killed. Because people that speak truth, they just want to make an example. But if everybody speaks truth, then they can't kill all of us. So don't be a coward. Don't be afraid. Your life is in God's hands. So go be in peace and go out glorifying the Lord in everything you do. Amen?
The reason I'm still alive and talking about God, you know it's a miracle. When you preach about Jesus, they try to come up with reasons just to get rid of you. I know they really need God, cause deep down inside I know that they miserable. And His love unconditional, He can set you free, He can deliver you. And His love unconditional, He set me free and He deliver me. Living in sin, now it's history. Give me victory over my misery. Are you kidding me? I was just stuck in the streets and smoking that weed. Now I'm gonna live with my dad. Jesus, He paid my feet and give me peace, man. How could I ever go back? If you wanna go to heaven, the Bible got all of the recipes. I don't do this for no competition, I don't care who's ahead of me. I'ma keep fighting my flesh, cause you know that my flesh is my enemy. I got to my knees and I pray every time the devil try to mess with me. Jesus, He died on the cross and you know He died for your sins. You don't wanna give your life to God, but it is what it is. Jesus, He died on the cross and I know He died for my sins. I give my life to my God cause I love